as a black-owned restaurant?
It was a black-owned restaurant. The man was known for never wearing a coat, no matter how cold it was. And he went to market every morning to buy his chickens and carried them in a basket. He was noted for that. He was kind of eccentric. And he sold chicken legs for 10 cents and rabbit legs, wild rabbit. People would bring them. So wild rabbit legs and chicken legs for 10 cents, and the bigger parts were 20. And he's cooked them all in the same grease. My mother-in-law told me that.
You ready?
Mhm.
Okay, do you want to add that part about the restaurant before I start to give the next
Mr. Panell's restaurant sold ice cream. It was a black restaurant, very nice and clean and cool. I always remembered that. Now,
Now, when was that restaurant in business? How long was it in business?
now I don't know. See, I lived in the country, and we just come past there going to get the train. So I don't know how long. You have to ask Dorothy or Mr. Hogan out there. Yeah.
He's in business for about 50 years because he didn't go out of business until about the time he died. He was my mother-in-law's cousin. She inherited this property. So I'd say he's in business for 50 years.
Now, was this church the only African-American church in Gallipolis?
What you mean? This church here?
Yeah.
No, it was Paint Creek was up there. They're Baptists, see.
Oh, okay.
And this is a Methodist church.
Now, what's the name of it?
This one, it's an African Episcopal.
African Methodist Episcopal.
Yes.
But when was it? Was it always named the John G. AME Church? Oh.
Mother that
Oh.
changed when down to Delta 57.
I'm just gonna ask you the last few questions about health care.
Okay.
What kinds of illnesses did family members experience growing up?
You mean all of us. Mom had hay fever, very bad. She suffered with hay fever. Minute it would get to be August and the ragweeds would start to bloom out and that yellow pollen, she would be sick with hay fever. She couldn't breathe and probably was the cause of her death finally, because it probably wore out her heart, the heavy breathing, because she'd have to sit up straight. She couldn't lay down. She would sit at a table with her arms on a pillow, propped up so she could breathe easily. And my dad, only thing that I remember my dad having a problem with probably was he died of a heart attack. He dropped dead. So, not dropped dead, he was sitting down and he just fell backwards over the bed.
How about common colds and flus? How were those treated when you were growing up?
Well, I think you probably heard me laughing. We had all kinds of treatments because my mom and dad both knew herbs. And I remember Life Everlasting. We'd gather that in the fall of the year when it would bloom out and the blossoms would get white. And we would gather it and hang it in the buildings. We'd make tea out of that. And also my dad would, he also trapped. That meant you might get a skunk or a polecat. and they'd make polecat grease. They'd cook the fat of the polecat down and rub it on your chest. You'd probably, if you were really sick, you might get a teaspoonful of it to eat.
You would eat it?
Yeah, you'd have to take it. And then too, castor oil. Oh, they love to give you castor oil. Oh my goodness, I can remember that very well. And bone set tea, that's bitter old tea, wide leaves, and I don't know bone setting. I do know Life Everlasting if I see it, but I remember all of that, and sassafras tea, and then they'd make a syrup out of wild cherry bark, boil it down and cook it until it got like a cough medicine. And then too, we were laughing about it back there. I never had any of it, but I've understood. I did know that pennyroyal was good for teas, you know, especially if you were looking like you were going to come down with measles or something, and it wasn't popping out fast enough. You'd take this hot pennyroyal tea, and boy, you'd be freckled with measles the next day. So I remember my mom saying that they used to use sheep droppings to do the same thing. Now, she never gave me any of it, but she said they did that. Sheep like pennyroyal, so when they're droppings, they see it was the same, getting it in ball form. But the pennyroyal, it is a good tea. It really tastes good.
So what is pennyroyal?
Pennyroyal, it's a little tiny vine that grows about that high up off of the ground. It's not a vine, it's like a little weed. And it smells good. You probably get it in medicines today, but you just don't know what it is. But that's pennyroyal. Pennyroyal. Pennyroyal.
Now, what kinds of health care were available in communities about the doctors and different things like that? When would people see doctors?
We didn't, unless you got really sick. Now, my mom's doctor was Dr. Claude Parker. She had this, I told you, the asthma type thing, and she also was suffered with gallbladder trouble, and he would have to come out. She'd be so sick, and I can remember Dad calling him, and he'd come out and give her a shot, and she would be all right. But he had to come from town because we lived in the country, so he'd come out to our house from town. But that's the only thing I remember her, and asthma. That's what she died with a heart condition.
Now, how did your mother have home remedies for her asthma that she would take? Do you remember if she had?
No more than what the rest of us took. They put the poor little kids through all this astaphethida. I don't, you know what that is? Smelly ball of stuff. They'd hang it on a string. They'd punch a hole through it, and you wore it around your neck. And you'd always know when you had it on because it was horrible smelling. And all of us who wore it, you could smell us.
So when would you wear it? Like
we would wear it in the winter to ward off colds and things.
What's it called again?
Astaphethida. Am I saying it right? I think it's Fetia. Well, anyway, that's what you starts with an A. That's
Where do you find
you would at the store. You can buy it at the drugstore. I guess you can still buy it if you're brave enough to wear it.
Well, thank you very much. But before we end, is there anything about the history of Gallipolis or this area concerning African Americans that you think you should have told us that I didn't ask you about?
No, I think we hit it all. Think we did.
And is there anybody else you think we should interview for this project that we haven't so far that's not here?
That is in here. I don't know. Oh, the only persons, I don't know whether she had talked to you or not, but Annette Johnson. I ought to get my cousin up here, Mr. Lewis Green. Yeah, I'm telling you, you would get he'd have to get several tapes. He's 94 years old, and mind is as sharp as a tack.
Where does he live?
He lives up here at 840. 89, what is it, 8 something? What's Buster's house number? 8, and he's right on the other side of Pink Creek Church, huh?
Is it too late to get him?
Do you want to do that?
He's 90-something years old, you said?
Call him up.
Well, Lewis, Morris, are you back there?
Oh, okay. Is that
Well, yeah, that's fine with me because he's got more history in him than I'll ever have.
well, thank you very
Very affluent old man. He had did an interview for the Tribune in Black History Month. And I took the girl over there with from the newspaper. He sat there and talked to her 2 hours and never stopped.
Well, we might not be able to get him that long, but we should be able to get something. He's in his 90s. He probably
Yeah,
has a lot of
94, yeah.